Greetings, programs. Welcome to Hydaelyn's Heroes, the Final Fantasy XIV podcast, where whether you're a warrior of light or warrior of darkness, all can call this place home. It's been a long time since we've been here. This is episode 27. We're going to talk about FanFest and Evercold and everything there. We're going to try to do this regular again with Ready Check Raideo going to one show a month. Piers and I are going to try to do like every other weekend. So hope you tune in for that. Follow on all the socials, Tarkoth Gaming. We'll be here. So to introduce my co-host, it's been quite a while, good sir. He is the Reed Richards to my Victor Von Doom. Or is that the other way around? Were you the bad guy? You were the bad guy. Yeah, whatever.
I want to be the bad guy.
I don't know. I'll be Doom. This is Mr. Pierce Harvey. How you doing, my dude?
I'm doing all right, man. It's been a long time. What is this episode? You said 27?
27.
Damn, we've been doing it for a while, though. I mean, here and there, sporadically, but we have been doing it. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back, and yes, we'll try to make this a more regular thing as time allows, of course. But and as information comes out too, we might be on a bit of a lull here until maybe the European FanFest when it comes to
Berlin,
at least 14.
Berlin in July. But I think we're going to talk about, like I said, Evercold and the announcement at FanFest. We'll do MSQ next week, and we'll have tidbits to throw about the new Ultimate. So next time. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. All right. So let's start with overall impressions of FanFest. Just FanFest as a whole. What did you think of FanFest, good sir?
We took on just like a general feel of like all the announcements and just like
all
the vibe.
Announcements, the vibe, because we were both there. So I know, and we were both at Vegas, so we can kind of contrast.
Mm-hmm. No, I thought it was good. This year was good. Having it in Anaheim was definitely different. I think that it was probably the right call, to be honest. The convention center was definitely more spacious than I remember it being in Vegas. Pretty much any time it was in Vegas. I think the layout was done really well, at least when it comes to like being there in person. As for the content of the FanFest itself, I think that it's exciting, and I'm incredibly hype, but I do have some trepidations about some things that I'm sure we'll discuss as we get a little bit further into the show here. But it's an excited hesitance, you know what I mean? Like I'm a little hesitant, but I'm excited. But so I mean, what did you think about it?
I thought it was leaps and bounds better than Vegas. Not only just the place, but the time of year. Why they decided that a FanFest in Vegas in August, was it August or July, in the middle of summer when it's just beating down heat, and it was just so gross. It was so gross. This was so much better just for enjoyment of the event itself. Incredibly more spacious. Basically, it was two Vegases in a row, and one was reserved for all the stage stuff and seating and stuff. So much more seating. And the other room was for all the fun stuff, all the event stuff. Play around, have fun. So I enjoyed it. And there was a second seating area over on the play side as well. So kind of an overflow section. So that was really nice.
Yep.
Overall, the only thing I have against it is maybe figure out the bathroom situation. The women seemed fine from everything I could tell, but the men's rooms had lines going out the doors. It was absolutely nuts. They were forming lines in the bathroom. Just it was just the people themselves making the lines. Hey, this one's for urinals. This one's for stalls. And it was like funny. It was pretty funny. So yeah, that's great. I thought it was a good time. Let's get into the meat of it. I thought the expansion was maybe going to be called Blind Frost, and then I realized before going there, no, because that's a place, and I think we're not going to a place on the source. Yeah. I thought we were going to go. So it was kind of cold themed, right? Not Blind Frost, but Evercold.
Yeah, I think there were some speculation, some leaks or something. I can't remember, but something like ice was very much like speculated to be the next expansion theme. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if it was a leak or whatever, then they nailed it or whatever. I think they like Squeenix again. You know, they always will like copyright a term or something, and then people are like, "Oh, is that gonna be the next expansion title or whatever?" And it usually never is.
You remember we got debated on that once because it was almost that time, and we got Forspoken. And we're like, oh, it's going to be Forspoken. That's kind of cool. And it ended up being a game that wasn't all that good.
That was a whole nother thing. Yeah.
Whole nother thing. Yeah. You know, I find it funny because we're going to the 4th. I feel like we're just abandoning the 9th. Like, we know the 9th has issues, but we're not going to solve any of them. We're going to get sucked over into the 4th. And I don't... How's your feelings about that? Like, go to the 4th, but like, you can hold over here.
I don't think I mean, I think the story is mainly going to focus on the 4th, but I think this whole the winter thing, this whole involuntary rejoining, if you will, is going to affect all of the shards, right? So sure. I don't think that we're abandoning, at least story wise, the 9th completely. I think there will be at some point, at least maybe if it's not in the expansion itself, maybe in the patches following, or even in the expansion after, we could see something of at least this is, you know, the shards coming together to kind of fight back against this involuntary rejoining that's supposed to happen. So I think we get involvement with the 13th, with the 1st, with the 4th, with the 9th, and then wherever the hell else we go from there, and of course on the source as well. But you know, that's where we're from. So,
well, again, I don't want to get into MSQ because the FanFest came before the MSQ, and so I don't want to lean into that. We'll save that for in 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm excited to get to there. I just hope I'm seeing like, is this a lot of Shadowbringers 2.0? Like, we go there, we solve the problem, we come back. And that's not the vibe I'm getting. I'm getting more of a, we may cause the problem kind of deal. I don't know what you're feeling about that.
I'm not sure. I honestly don't know what's going to happen in the Evercold story, at least until maybe we get some more information, maybe the 7.55 story part, where we kind of figure out what's going on over there. I don't know if we cause it. I do think, I mean, again, you don't want to get too much into MSQ, but what's alluded to at the end of this most recent MSQ is that there is someone a lot like Calyx pulling the strings over on the 4th. And even though Calyx might not agree with the methodology of what's happening on the 4th, he's like, you know, everybody in this group, everybody who's a winterer, if you will, like, we believe in our mission, like wholeheartedly, 100%. And so, like, you know, get ready to face someone just like me on the 4th, basically. So, like, I think that's, or worse. Yes. Yeah. So, you know.
All right. Let's talk about our favorite stuff with the announcement, because there was a whole lot. This was proclaimed the next level. This is the new beginning for 14. I think we've railed that there's been a lot of same the last 3, 4, 5 expansions. So I feel like we're getting a big breath of fresh air, not just in, well, we don't even know necessarily in content, but as far as systems, how we're going to play the game. What's your initial feelings on all the changes they announced, or just overall, and we'll get into specifics.
Well, when it comes to the overall, I think it harkens back to what I said at the beginning, which is it's trepidation. There's a lot of trepidation into what these changes are going to mean going forward. I know there was a lot of excitement, at least in the crowd, at FanFest for some of the announcements, but you know, I'm someone who is like one of those I'll believe it when I see it kind of thing. I want to see how it's implemented before I ultimately make my opinion on it. But I think that there are definitely some good things, but there are some things, like I said, there's just some things that I'm not sure if I agree with the direction that they're going yet. I have to see how they implement it, but yeah, we'll go into specifics later. But I'm
feeling like everything that they announced should have had a tag subject to change. So they're still so working on everything. And the plans, and just to break down some of the things that are changing, we got a new combat mode that's not replacing right now. It is alongside. That gives me trepidation. The whole item level thing, the weekly thing. God, what else is changing? That's was kind of bonkers. Oh, one thing that I was absolutely hyped for, I screamed at the top of my lungs, and I had to post it right away to several people. The fact that we're getting region-wide party finder. Oh my God. It's a godsend. It's a godsend. So now you don't need to go anywhere unless you're like doing hunt trains and needing to move over. Like, you don't need to move around. It's going to be glorious. I love it. All right. What do you want to talk about first? What's your number one thing?
I mean, I think that it's either got to be the changes to like their weekly system, or it's got to be the evolved mode, right? So right. I let's pick one.
All right, let's go weekly. Let's talk about the new weekly system and this mashup of what our main character screen might look like. Wow, that's different, huh?
It sure is.
With a, what is that? A battle pass at the bottom?
Some might call it that, yes.
Or a activity tracker cap system. Basically, like, tombstones are going away, right? We're done with tombstones.
That's what they said. They said that, you know, the tombstones have been around for so long. I'm just curious, like, what does that mean for, like, poetics? You know, are poetics going away finally? You know what I mean? Like, they've been around for so long.
Like, how are you going to get those rewards from old stuff? Like, maybe poetics is the only tombstone that's available anymore.
Yeah, right. Could you imagine just poetics? You know what I mean? But I could see it happening. I could.
And again, that's just for older content. Everything current expansion is on this new activity section. Let me see what the next slide is here. No. Yeah, here we go. So they're going to a weekly system. I find this very nice, so that if you have a day off and you just want a 14, you can do all this stuff on this chart here and max out your weekly stuff. It's not, okay, I can only do one expert a day. I can only do one alliance raid a day. You can knock out whatever is on this list. And I think there's a lot more on this list than just here. But I like the fact that I can knock out 5 dungeons all in a row and maybe be most of the way done. Have you played a game that has this kind of system at all? I hear WoW has it.
No, I've not played WoW or anything like that. I can't recall playing a game that has something similar to this. I mean, it does this. It's basically what it's very like Wondrous Tales coded, right? It's trying to get you to do a whole smattering of pieces of content to progress some sort of objective, right? And so with Wondrous Tales, it was getting the stickers, and so you could turn it in at the end of the week. And for this, it's replacing the tombstone, so you get a certain amount of assumedly points or whatever you can spend on gear or whatever, and what's even cool about it, I'm not sure if it's in a slide further or whatever, but they're making it so that there's like a 2-week period you can do it. So like if you didn't finish your points in 1 week, you can like get those points that you missed out on the upcoming week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
a makeup mechanic.
It makes catching up a lot easier, or it even makes like people who can't play as much, maybe they can only play a few days a week, like it doesn't put as much stress on them that they have to get on every single week to do X amount of things. They can, maybe just get on the weekends and try to slam out 2 weeks worth of points in the one weekend or something. You know what I mean? So it's more flexible when it comes to that. So that's cool.
And all subject to change. Nothing's written in stone until the game launches. And it could be that they go back on there like, yeah, we just can't make it quite work. But we'll see. January? Go ahead.
It's subject to change. I think that we will probably see a lot of changes before we end up getting into January, like you said. I think that there's even like some sort of thing where like through that pass or whatever, getting the points, you're able to like even get like savage gear or something, or like raid gear. At least that's what they were kind of alluding to. Like it was different ways to like achieve. Like you could see on the screenshot, there was like totems of something. You know what I mean? Like there were totems there.
Yeah.
At the top and like a chest there at the bottom. I know there's probably going to be like some cosmetic stuff too, right? Like maybe like something akin to the PvP pass that we have now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you can get like framers kits or whatever. But yeah, there's definitely totems there. So I don't know, is this like an alternate way of getting like certain like raid gear or best in slot stuff? You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm interested in.
It was information,
Blinds,
but it
coatings.
was so little information. It was kind of weird. Like this is just the glaze. This is the sugar topping that we don't get to the meat of what's actually going on in this system here. Like, yeah, I got totems. I got this scroll here. I don't know what that's for. Maybe. And here's where they're talking about, you know, giving us options to change our abilities and how they appear to us.
Oh, yes.
So maybe like this scroll is, hey, you know, once per battle pass you can alter one ability that's available.
That could be cool.
Totems are for left side gear. These little earring things are for right side gear. There's an emote, there's an orchestrion scroll, there's a mount.
You even see like though, like in the like on the top, like the character showing all the pieces of gear, there's like some that are locked and some that are not. So like what does the locked mean? Like you have to you are, with these points, are you unlocking that slot and then getting that piece of armor? And is that armor going to be best in slot? Is it going to be just tombstone or like it's I'm super interested to see what they do with it. Again, I'm trepidatious about it, you know, a little hesitant to see what they do, but you know, it could be something fresh and new, and ultimately, you know, I like the ability to be able to do a different number of things to earn these points. You know what I mean? I think there was even fishing on there. You want to earn some of your weekly points. You can fish for them. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty cool.
Nope.
So.
Yep. Sorry.
Down to bottom.
Yeah, complete a trial. Complete a fate. You know, just one time. Okay. Frontline. Yeah. A gate. Gather and deliver collectibles. Fish.
Gate's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. Oh man, I need a cap for the week. Let me go do slices right real quick. You know, it's just weird.
I think it's funny. Complete a main scenario quest. What happens when you're capped? When you're up to date? Are you talking about the MSQ? Complete a side quest. Like, wow. Okay. All sorts of different options. Hey, I still have side quests from Stormblood to do. So like, if that counts, man, I am getting those caught up easy.
Well, that sucks for players who like tried to complete all their side quests. Like I don't think I'm all the way up to. I think I'm like all the way up to Shadowbringers at least. I think I did all of them before that because, you know, they just show up on your map and they're like, oh, let me just go, you know, the collector, the completionist in me is like, oh, let's just go mop them up so my map can be nice and clean. And so those people, you know, we won't have as many side quests to get these weekly points with. Yeah.
But I can only do one per week. So, I guess I can't just mop them all up. I got to pick and choose.
You gotta spread them out, dude. You gotta be exactly.
Right. So we're trepidatious. We don't have enough information, but a new weekly system. Gone are going to be the days of doing a daily expert and then bouncing out for the night.
I mean, you might still be able to do that. You know, I think they should still allow people who like to do that to, you know, facilitate that playstyle if that was something you enjoy doing. I just think what they should do is just make it so that there is a more diverse content to do. You don't have to get on and do your expert if you don't want to do that. You can do something else instead and still earn points. But if you want to get on and do an expert, you can still do that. You know what I mean? Like I hope that it facilitates different, like a smattering, if you will, of different play styles. You know? Yeah,
so. That's the thing. That's, I guess, where the trepidation comes. Like, because you're, according to this chart, you can only do an instance dungeon one time for the week.
Yeah, that can't be right, dude, because like it's gonna kill queue times for like the dungeons and stuff, and it's that, again, that's something I'm nervous about, is like how are those queue times going to be? Like, are they going to be dailies anymore? Like daily bonuses and stuff? Like, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, man.
Well, you know what the best rewards are to incentivize people to do content?
What's that?
Materia,
of course.
Go to your Quantum 40. Go to your. You get that materia. It's really important. I'm being facetious, by the way.
That's why I do Criterion for sure, and Q40 or whatever it's called. Yeah, I've even unlocked Q1.
Yeah, you kind of like, nah, I'm done with that.
There's this one boss. I don't remember what boss it was, but there's this one boss. It was like
fall around the orbs.
Clone. It was like a chaos clone. He
Oh,
was like doing his speed.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. My brain just wasn't working, and like it's so punishing. You would just get hit by like one attack and you die, and I was just like super frustrated by it.
I'm just gonna say, because we were doing that as our friends group, if we had all been in Discord, we would have gotten through it. Be like, just follow Tark. I've got this.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like you got hit a couple times.
I know, but I figured it out. Like I may have gotten hit a couple times, but I had figured it out. Anyways.
Anyway.
What's next? Evolve mode?
The
new combat mode?
Yeah, sure.
Nope. Yeah, I'm just, it's first time getting back. Calm down. All right. We're going to have a new combat mode. It's called Evolved mode.
There it is.
Things are going to change. The funny part is they're keeping the way the game is now. So you're going to have two separate systems side by side. Okay. The Reborn mode's not really changing anything. You might get some new abilities. Potencies might be changed. Evolved mode is basically a whole new way of playing your job or the game as a whole, because this is the main content. Absolutely bonkers. To go with that, gave us an overview of what to expect here. We can toggle between the modes at any time. So if you're not feeling the evolved of one thing, of one job to another, go back to the other one. It's fine. Job level shared. Okay. I mean, that would be absolutely insane if you would have to level Dragoon twice.
Gear shared. Add to some grinds. Sure.
You would add to some grinds. Yeah. Double the grind. Yeah. Gear shared. Okay. I mean, that would be insane if you have to. Yeah. Evolve mode available when unlocking job. So, you start level 1, you can start with evolve mode. All content clearable with both modes, which made me, this is where I became trepidatious about this, is that we've got 21 jobs plus another 2 coming. So that's 42 versions plus the 2 new ones, because only the new jobs, all new jobs will only have evolve mode. So we're going to have 44 combat jobs, main combat jobs, that they're going to have to balance to make sure that all jobs can clear content. Absolutely freaking insane. No way that this is viable long-term past this expansion. Heck, they might even make the full-blown switch at like 7.5 like, hey, you've had most expansion to play with this evolve mode. I know we've kept reborn mode, but reborn mode's going to have to go away, because there's no way long-term they can keep this going. What's your thoughts on initial evolve mode announcement?
My thought is that they have their work cut out for them when it comes to balancing this content, because yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they're going to have to make sure that each job in both modes is going to be competitive and in each piece of content. And not only that, but they're going to have to try to keep each mode at least semi-balanced with itself. So, for example, if I want to play Evolved Red Mage, well, they're going to have to keep like Reborn Red Mage around the same level. And they did say, Yoshi said that Evolved might be a smidge more powerful than Reborn mode, but like nobody is going to play Reborn mode if it's going to be vastly weaker, you know what I mean, than Evolved mode. And then I don't know. It's just I have to see the implementation. We've seen a few jobs, and from what the jobs that they've shown, I do see some promise in those jobs. But there are some jobs that I am nervous they're going to destroy. I don't. Let it also be known that there's one guy that's helming this entire process. By the way,
Oh yeah.
Everybody calls him Mr. Prime now because he
newly minted Mr. Prime.
Some dude just shouted it at FanFest from the crowd, and like now he's just known as that. So whoever shouted that Mr. Prime thing, goated, by the way. He's the one helming this whole process, and he's done a lot of fights in the game, and he also has designed jobs. I think he designed Ninja and some other jobs as well.
He is the designer, I believe, of all the jobs for PvP.
And PvP, he definitely did the PvP changes, and for better or for worse, I think some jobs do work really cool in PvP, and some are kind of lame. But ultimately, like I said, it's just going to be. I'm sure he has a team with him working on this with him, but like they're having a hard enough time balancing the jobs as is. To be fair, I think that job balance is doing okay right now. But I mean, again, it's only with how many jobs are we up to? 22 now? Is it 22?
21. Yeah, 21 jobs right now.
Whatever the case, 21. Okay, so whatever the case is, doubling that to facilitate this new mode is going to be a tall order. So we'll see what they do. Just don't ruin Red Mage, and we'll be fine. And don't take away my raise. I'm saying it now. If they take away my raise, I will riot. And
it's funny you say that. I was just thinking. I think raises are gone for both Summoner and Red Mage.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's too integral to the job's design, dude. But okay, we'll see what happens.
Integral.
We can make our bets.
I mean, it's integral to its identity as a res mage. Yes, I wouldn't say integral to it being a DPS job, which is its primary focus.
Sure, but red mages throughout the entire series have white and black magic, and no, don't tell me that my white offensive magic counts for the white mage section of the white and black magic combined. That's not how that works. We have to have some form of curing or support or healing or something or raising to justify red mage even being a red mage. Just flavor us something different at that point, rune fencer or something, if that's what you want to do. If take away our heals and stuff. So I get very protective.
You can have your heals. You can have your Verkeer. You still get a shield.
No, that's not. That's too weak.
It's too weak. You get Verholy.
Again, that's offensive. No offensive here. People are even speculating.
Where's your defensive dark magic?
That's not. Does Black Mage from Final Fantasy I have any defensive magic?
No.
Okay, does White Mage? I guess technically in Final Fantasy I
mean, technically it has like Blink. It has
Black Mage
Temper.
Blink.
Doesn't? Are you sure?
No, I think it's all White Mage stuff. I'm pretty sure.
I know there's Temper.
I don't know. I haven't played one in forever. We're getting way off topic. The idea, Red Mage is supposed to be a combination of black and. I mean, look at the job icon. It is the Black Mage staff or the Black Mage little meteor symbol with the White Mage staff. So we have to have a combination of both. Okay, healing and damage, and the healing has just been Vercure, and Vercure is like, it is what it is.
I don't know if you've played healer very much, but healers don't do a lot of healing. But we'll get to that.
That's what they're changing that, so yeah. we'll see. Anyway, okay, way off topic, but I just think, and I also do think some jobs, like their iterations right now, are just so good, like Red Mage, like Monk. Now I think they finally hit something with Monk.
I like Monk
jobs
now.
Jobs like the newer jobs like Reaper, Viper, Picto, which a lot of people are speculating that Viper and Picto were proofs of concept for the evolve mode, which that's fair. But what are they going to do if they're going to have two modes? Like, how much more simple can you make the buttons on Viper? The Vipers on Pictum, or the buttons on Pictomancer. There's a few things they can call a few things, to be fair. But like, is it going to look vastly different? You know what I mean? Or is it just going to be like a little teeny tiny things they're going to do for some of these newer jobs that probably were made with evolved mode in mind? You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens if they completely overhaul, because they are completely overhauling some jobs. The jobs that they showed us, like Dragoon, plays completely different to
Absolutely
what it plays
different.
now.
Yeah.
So
It looks sweet. It looks absolutely bonkers.
It looks really cool. Like I think it looks great, but you know, maybe I don't want some vastly overhaul on Red Mage or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Anyway, we can keep going.
This is the place to vent, man. This is to get into your feelings, man. This is the safe space. It's okay.
Sure.
One thing that I am still trepidatious about, because we only got one half of the coin. Is that this here? Come on. Aren't you working? Come on, buttons. There we go. Is the changes to tanking and the role split of main tank and off tank. Ooh, boy. Oh boy is right. Like
a big conversation.
Yeah, across many different content creators and websites. Like, what are we doing here, guys? They're trying to, and maybe this is a point where tanks need to really have one of each type to be flexible in the content. Like, because I see some fights where, like, you know what, having two main tanks, like our surfer dudes, would be pretty beneficial because you're both taking hits from a boss. But then certain fights where what was it, M6 with all the ads and the Yans and the Gimme Cats and Sugar Riot, or maybe off tank and dealing with ads as their primary. The way they have it split up here is just abilities. It's not like, and it's just like defensive stuff and how to deal with damage. It's not about their role and what they do. And because it only showed Paladin, we're really missing that other side of the coin where, like, you should have also shown us an off tank, show us Warrior, you know, to see what we can really expect and dive into it. I know they got 2 more FanFests and there's 8 months probably before this expansion launches. So there's still a lot of time, but like, you've left us all kind of wondering, what is your plan? Because I know you've tried to do this unintentionally in the past with some changes to the jobs, but they've never really done it well. So how are you feeling about main tank, off tank?
A lot of the discourse, I think, is blowing up the situation more than it probably has any right to be blown up. I think
it's all fair because it's still subject to change, and we don't have all the information.
We don't have it.
They're clickbaiting. Yes. They're clickbaiting.
Sure, if that's what you want to call it.
Rage baiting.
I think I watched the video. I think it was Charlie in Forum, shout out, by the way, pretty decent video, who said that I think that they probably should have used different terminology when it comes to the main tank and off tank. I think they should have done maybe like a party support tank and then like a taking damage tank or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the terminology is throwing people off, and maybe it's not going to be as big of a thing as I don't think it's going to be, unless you're doing like an ultimate or something. I don't think it's going to be a problem for you to bring 2 off tanks. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or 2 main tanks. I think you're going to function the same. You just might not have as much party mitigation if you don't bring an off tank, or, you know, maybe the tank busters will hit a little bit harder if you just bring 2 off tanks or something. You know, it seems like what they're really doing for at least Paladin is if we get into the evolved thing, is they're making it so Paladin can like counter attacks, right? They can parry, or riposte or whatever. So maybe that's what they're going to do with this new tank that they're making, the double shield tank. People are speculating. We'll see. that main tanks are going to be able to like do counterattacks, so you want them to be the one that's taking hits, and then off tanks are going to be the ones that are supporting the party. I think Gunbreaker right now is a fantastic look at what an off tank can be in our current form. I mean, you've got Heart of Corundum, which you can put on the other tank. They've got Aurora, which is a heal or regen they can put on the other tank or any party member. They've got their Heart of Light, which is a raid wide mitigation. So I think Gunbreaker can pretty much probably stay the same and just be a fine off tank, and then you know what I mean. Like, for main tank, like Paladin's getting their counter. Paladin's even getting like this cool cover where they can rush to a target and then cover them, and then if that target that they covered takes damage, then they get that counter attack. You know what I mean? Which I think is a great thing. So
I see some people not liking that only for the charge aspect of it, because it's combined. You can't not cover and not charge a person. But I see all these changes I see as leading to more diverse mechanics and situations and fights. So they're allowed to do so much more different things. If they have something that's maybe designed to take big, numerous hits from a boss, maybe you need a tank that can, like, all right, I can take 3 tank busters in a row, like the off tank can't. Like, you need an off tank, you need a main tank. Well, what if you have a fight that's more party based? Maybe then you take 2 off tanks. Like, they say that any combination is going to be fine. You can clear content, but you might be better served to have one of each. It depends on the content and how they design it. They can do all sorts of different wild stuff with this.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's going to come down to like playing a tank that you have fun with. You know what I mean? Like, if being the one who takes the hits and then counterattacking is your thing, then play Paladin. If you want to be a tank that like supports the party and reduces mitigation, or reduces damage through mitigation, or can still voke off the main tank and take a hit and then give it back to the other tank. You know what I mean? Like, if that's the kind of tank you want to play, then you can play the off tank. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's gonna like force people into certain roles. I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this, but like,
or certain jobs. I mean, like Sugar Riot, that fight forced our Dark Knight into Warrior.
It didn't force him into Warrior, but
really
man, it made it a lot more convenient.
It was a lot easier.
But yeah, it is also, that kind of thing is cool, though. I mean, I know a lot of people really enjoy when it feels like their job can do something that no other job can, and it brings that unique flavor. And when it came to Sugar Riot, man, there's no job in the game like Warrior that can, throw Nascent Flash on their off tank and then just start cleaving a crap load of ads and basically make him and the off tank invincible, him and the other tank invincible for the entire duration of Nascent Flash, right? Because of all that regen or the healing you're doing through the cleaving.
On such a short cooldown, and you're just like, all right, I gotta pop that, because it's like the ads were just they're gonna be brutal.
So that's cool. So if they kind of bring that kind of flavor into this off main and off tank thing, then I think that's cool. You could feel like your tank does something unique that no other tank can do. But I do think people are overblowing it a little too much. Like, if your main raid group right now is running a Dark Knight and a Warrior, I don't think you need to. One of them has to panic and swap to one of the main tanks to feel like you're still going to be able to clear fights, right? Like, but maybe they want to. Maybe a tank, a boss hits really hard, and one of your tanks is like, hey, I could switch to Paladin and maybe take a little bit less damage if that would help the party, and then they can do that. But I don't think it's going to be something that's forced down people's throats or anything. So, and
we say that, but part of all these changes is because we've complained about the homogenization and the sameness of things.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, maybe this is going to be like shield healer, pure healer. I'm like, okay, but if you really think about it, yes, all content can be done by any combination of the healers, and maybe that's what they're aiming for. But the healers are pretty homogenized themselves. Like, the pure healers have mitigation stuff. So you could dual pure heal. The shield healers, they got so much mitigation. If they plan it and spreadsheet that stuff, they can do minimal healing themselves. It's pretty crazy what a Scholar Sage can do when it's really planned out. I just don't with them trying to give identity back. That was one of their big talking points. This whole expansion for 8.0. Like, I think there's going to be some stark changes that people are just like, oh, okay. So maybe the fantasy of you can be any job, like they're really going to hammer into that. Hey, you know, you're an off tank, but maybe you should play double main tank this fight because you got two targets like our Surfer Bros.
Yeah, I suppose so. Like, I wouldn't put it past them, I suppose, but like 14 has been just one of those games where like it's kind of facilitated, but you can play pretty much whatever you want and get away with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not that I would like,
or take like Hephaestus phase 2, where you know both tanks are getting just absolutely slammed with autos. Like,
yeah,
maybe double main tank and you're both counterattacking. You know, stack up for those tank busters and double mit. I don't.
Yeah, it could be.
They
cool.
Can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever.
And to talk about the whole diversifying things so that they could do many more things with mechanics, they're getting rid of the 2-minute meta. Hallelujah, right?
Yeah.
Or are you trepidatious about that?
I'm not, because ultimately culling the 2-minute meta means that basically every job is a lot more freeform. Not even seeing what the evolved modes are. If you just take away the 2-minute meta from jobs how they work now, a lot of jobs can function like. It can be completely freestyle if you take away 2-minute burst windows, right? Sure. Like, you don't have to worry about stockpiling resources like on Reaper, for example. You don't have to worry about doing a double end shroud. You theoretically don't have to do that anymore if there's no 2-minute meta. You don't have to worry about like samurais don't have to worry about like saving their resources or going into their burst phase on a certain GCD or anything like that. Like, it makes every job a lot smoother and a lot more freeform and a lot less rigid. So ultimately, I think it's going to be really, really good for the game. I mean, taking away fight design, right? Because I even mentioned at the live letter that fight design had to be very strict. Like, you couldn't have the boss jump away at a 2-minute point because then people wouldn't be able to do their 2-minute bursts, or, you know, they had to like design entire fights around the 2-minute meta. And it's like now they can do a lot more unique things with fight design that they couldn't do beforehand. So I think it's a good idea. It's just now jobs that were mainly buff jobs like Bard, like Dancer. I think Dancer will still keep its dance partner, by the way, but that's another conversation. Jobs like even jobs like Red Mage and Summoner that do less damage than the other casters. We do less than Black Mages. It is what it is. But now they're going to have to bring that gap even up more because we're not going to have Emboldened to fall back on. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it does make me nervous for Red Mage keeping raise, because like how much, because it'll now truly just be a raise tax, right? Because now you can't even say, oh, well, they have a job, you know, they have a raid buff that Black Mage doesn't have. Now we won't even have that. So
Summoner too.
You know,
my off job is Summoner. So, yeah. And we can raise as well, not as well as Red Mage, but we can do it. I mean, technically, and maybe they're leaning towards trying to everyone to do Phoenix Downs.
Like, yeah, could you imagine just giving Phoenix Downs to everybody in like Extreme and Savage content? Yeah, right.
Yeah, everyone gets a Swift cast, but that's saved. That is saved for your Phoenix Down. You better have that.
Sure.
Put a 10-minute timer on that before you can reuse it. I don't know. I'm mixed on the whole thing. We said Dragoon looks good. I'm excited about the removal of the 2-minute meta, because what you do is now all that matters. Like, as a dancer, you're really hoping that the rest of your team, for your parses or whatever, are maximizing your burst window, your buffs. Now, you know, as long as you're playing the job and you're not missing your rotation, you should be good. Like, there's no like variance as far as buffs and if anybody else is doing well to enhance your parsing. So yeah, I'm all for this.
Yeah. I mean, with Dancer, like I said, I think they are keeping Dance Partner. I at least I hope they do. I think it's so integral to the job's identity. And I mean, Dance Partner is something you throw on a DPS and you forget. It's not something you have to base a 2-minute meta around or anything like that. You know what I mean? And I do think personal buffs will probably stay around as well, which means that like certain jobs will still probably be bursting at certain times, but it's not going to be a strict thing. You know what I mean? Like I think maybe like, you know, Samurai keeps something like Iki Shoten, right? Where every 2 minutes they'll use that, and then they can use their Ogi Namakiri. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you can have a personal buff, like Fight or Flight for Paladin. I don't think that's available anymore, but that's your own personal thing. That's part of the play of that job. It's not a buff for everyone where you need to. Well, maybe they do get away from that, because again, then you start to gather resources and. Like, no, I need to do this during that buff window.
That's true. That is true. We'll see how they do it, man. Because
a Dark Knight buff would be like Dark Side.
Where
it's just like, as long as you're not
they just
dropping
maintain it though. Yeah.
You just maintain it. Then you're not worrying about a buff window. So
I could see that. Yeah, they're gonna have to do something. I mean, I didn't see Battle Litany. Well, obviously they got rid of Battle Litany on Dragoon, but like, yeah, yeah, we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do, specifically with jobs that are known for their buffs. We already see what they're doing with Bard. Like, Bard's not going to have any damage increases on any of their songs anymore, which is
what is that?
Really strange.
A shield, a regen, and a movement buff.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So Radiant Finale is gone, but even beyond Radiant Finale, like, it looks like the buffs from the songs themselves will just be gone. So like the 1% damage increase or whatever that you got from like Mage's Ballad or whatever. I can't remember what each one did, but
direct
even
hit,
those are gone.
Hit. Yeah, those are gone.
So like, and those were you just kept up full time. So it's really weird. I guess we'll have to, because that does kind of like put a hitch in my Dance Partner theory, right?
Yeah.
But I guess we'll have to see what happens.
You know what would be cool, and this is just theorizing, if they had something where they had to rotate the Dance Partner.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's
like 1, 2, 3 step, ta-da! 1, 2, 3 step, ta-da! And they get, I don't know, they could do whatever they want. I'm excited to see what the jobs come out as, but last job that they showed was White Mage, and my feelings are that this is the most basic of the evolved as evolved could possibly get. Like, it's the Lily system just kind of retextualized so that it could just be any heal. Like, Afflatus Misery is no longer a thing. I see. Your DPF, your glare button, your glare maging is now instant cast. So you could just run around the entire, like, you lose the skill of slide casting, which I think is pretty valuable as a floor ceiling skill metric. I'm not too sure how that is. I want to see Sage. You show one, but you don't show the others. Like, wait, how does that affect my job? Are we getting the same thing? There's so many questions. Help me.
Trust me. I know. They didn't even show any casters, bro.
I know, right? I mean, maybe because they're like, well, Picto's as close to as evolved as it's gonna.
Sure.
You want an evolved job, a caster? There you go, Picto.
Yoshi did say Black Mage is really good, apparently, in evolved mode. So I don't know, but that's his main job, so he'll probably glaze it no matter what.
I mean, it's probably like, hey, you want your bonus? Black Mage better be good and involved. Yes, boss.
Yes, exactly. Well, I don't know. With White Mage, they're clearly incentivizing using GCD heals. That's what they seem to really be focusing on and leaning in on. And I wonder if every single healer is going to get the same treatment, where if you use a GCD heal, you're going to get some sort of damage. It's going to get converted somehow into damage. And for White Mage, it is, if you use a GCD heal, it fills this little part of this gauge, and that gauge can be spent on doing a big damage burst attack. And so you don't feel penalized for using GCD heals because it fills up this bar. But then it's like, what there could be some cool things you could do with that though. You could, if you know that there's going to be like a burst phase that you need to do a lot of damage on or something, you could save up that bar and then use it and then heal another 2 times and then use it again or something. You know what I mean? It's like I think there's some cool stuff you could do, but it does seem very simple. But maybe that's by design. Maybe they want White Mage, which is the only healer you can start in this game.
True.
By the way,
That's true.
It is
even Scholar you can't start as. That's level 30. So yeah.
It's the quintessential healer. It's the baby's first healer, and there's nothing wrong with that. So maybe they just want White Mage to play a lot more simple. So
like complex jobs like Astro and Sage. Yeah, flex.
Yep.
Let's go. Sure. I don't know. White Mage is also getting a movement buff. Like if we get all these movement buffs,
temperance, right?
Yeah. If we're getting all these movement buffs, like I made the joke that what is the Scholar one called? Expedience. Expedience is a crutch, and I still believe that it's a crutch because they're the only ones that have it, so they can't design fights around expedience. So it's just a crutch for people that don't know how to manage their sprint resources or react in time. So if they do more of movement buff stuff, that no longer becomes a crutch. That just becomes a feature, and you need to learn to manage that stuff. Which, hey, maybe that's why we no longer have to slide cast, because we have to manage movement buff stuff. Sure. You're not buying it?
Nah, I don't know. I do think making healers GCD damage cast instant is a choice.
It's a bold choice. It's a bold choice.
It's a choice.
I don't really like it, but
I don't know if I like it either, because White Mages or not White Mage, healers in general are already kind of like typecast into being the one button job. Press glare or dosis or what is it? Biolysis or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a breakdown of casts in a fight, like your caster's number one DPS ability is going to be like 80% of the fight.
Yeah. So it's like, that's already simple enough. You don't have to worry about a rotation or positionals or anything like that. Like that's already gone. And now you don't even have to worry about cast times. You don't have to worry about that. Now you can literally just press one button and run around do an entire lap around the arena 4 times while you're casting your thing. And it's like, there's what skill is there in that? You know what I mean? So it's,
I have a question about the White Mage. Did we notice a Dia?
I don't know. I don't know if I saw a Dia or not. I did see Holy on the bar, but
yeah, are they going to get rid of dots? I don't remember seeing there being a dot on Bard.
Bard. So there was a meme with Bard. I think they went into Mage's Ballad, and Mage's Ballad gave them the ability to use their buffs or their Wind Bite and their Viper Bite, but they were like 3-second dots. So they were barely just not even dots.
So it was just a slight enhancement on
something. Yeah.
On those two. So they're abilities, but in that mode they get a little extra something on it, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It was really bizarre if you go back and watch the Bard showcase.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Okay. So we didn't talk about the consolidation for evolve mode.
Yeah, so there's some cool things about evolve mode that I think are really good steps in the right direction, and that is some context sensitive buttons. So for example, one of the ones that they did show was clemency on Paladin. It will change depending on if you're targeting an enemy or not an enemy. If you're targeting an enemy or an ally.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you target an enemy, it's Holy Spirit, but if you target an ally, it is Clemency. Hopefully the button does change contextually, because it can be a little confusing to just see the button and it looks like Holy Spirit, and it feels weird to cast Holy Spirit on a button number. But it does. I mean, if you look at the evolve mode on the right side there, it does show the icon changing from provoke to shirk, which is the same concept, right? If you're targeting an enemy, it's provoke. If you're targeting an ally, it's shirk, which I think is a really cool idea. So that's a great way to condense some buttons, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I think
Interject
that's
stun
a step in the direction.
combined. You got stun plus the interrupt all on one button.
Yep.
You already talked about clemency, the provoke. That's also a good one. Yeah. Overall, just from looking at, where was it? I'll be more organized next time, I swear. Just the overall button bloat, which has been such an issue. The more expansions that go on, the more and more buttons that need to be added and or removed. So this is a good streamlined, like I play controller, so I can fit most stuff with this new evolve mode just on the base controller pad. Like I don't really need to go much into the W hotbar, which is going to be really nice. I might still use it just for OGCDs and stuff because that's where I like to put my OGCDs, but not having to do as many finger gymnastics as I like to say is always a plus in my book.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that, maybe this is going to be akin to the, what was it, the damage squish that happened, right? Yeah. This is going to be a button squish.
Button squish, right? Yep.
So where, from here on, they can, maybe add a button or two, an expansion to kind of like, diversify the evolved mode. But it won't be as crazy as adding one or two buttons to reborn mode, where now you're looking at 3 hotbars or something. Yeah. you don't want that. But
I've gotten out of control and alt. I need to do shift 1 through 10 now because I need a 4th hotbar to hit all the buttons.
I will say, though, a cool thing about evolve mode that is also a huge plus to it as well is that they did say that the job will be complete at 50. So at level 50, once you get there, the evolve mode will be completely functional. So what that means is that when you go into older content, so say, for example, you get up to level 110, right, which is going to be the new cap, by the way, thumbs up. You can sink down to maybe a 70 fight. Maybe you want to go back and do UCOP or something. Well, your job will still feel functionally the same at level 70 as it does at 110. Maybe it'll be a little less complex. Maybe there will be a few less OGCDs or something you have to do, but the job will feel functionally the same. So unlike now, where if you go back and sync some jobs, they feel completely different. Yeah. Or the entire kits are gutted, or you won't have entire mechanics of your job. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that is a fantastic thing that they're doing with that.
Sage at 70 does not feel good. I'm missing so many healing tools. It's just like, no, I don't want to do this. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. So it's good for them for doing that. I think that's great.
Yeah, I agree. It looks good. Was there anything else about Evolve? We talked about the ability condensation, just the reduction of abilities itself, main tanks, off tanks. Is there anything on this list that piqued our interest? All content clearable. Again, that's I said this when they were announcing. I'm like, this is only lasting for this expansion. Come 9.0. Come 9.0.
I don't want to be I don't want to be. No, you're good. I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. I don't want to be a doomer and agree with you, but I do think that that's probably the direction they're going. I do not see it being feasible for them to keep iterating on reborn mode until 15.0 or whatever we get to. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. So
what this is it's an actual paid beta to try this out, get used to it. You get 2 years, maybe 2.5. They did say they were going to possibly try to shorten the patch cycle. Like they extended it during Endwalker and Dawn Trail, but they're looking to shorten it back up again. Maybe get back in the regular 2-year rotation maybe. So anyways, that's another tangent. I think this is a basically a paid live PTR. Learn to love this because this is the direction of the game. you're gonna have to adapt or find another job or find another game.
Yep,
This is just the way that's gonna be. This is the way this gonna be. And then giving us 2 years to play with it and dive into it. You don't have to stick with it, but eventually, like, I'm sorry, for the good of the game, it's gonna need to be cut back.
Sure, and that's fine that they're doing this, but man, that adds even more pressure for them to knock this shit out of the park. Because if they just gut some jobs and throw and just ruin them, it's going to piss a lot of people off. People are very loyal to their jobs, myself included. If Evolved Red Mage plays like ass, I'm going to be very upset. So, Evolved, did I say Evolved or Reborn? Whatever.
You said Evolved.
I know what you did say Evolved. Okay, good.
You just say new Red Mage.
Yes.
New Red Mage, better play good. And maybe it just takes some getting used to. You're so entrenched in Reborn mode and old mode. Give it some time. You got 2 years.
There's comfort in that knowledge, though. Like the fact that Monk's rotation has functionally been the same since 2.0.
True. They've tweaked some things.
There is comfort in that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like, I don't want all this knowledge that I've accrued on Red Mage over the years to go completely by the wayside because I have to switch to Evolved. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the thing. And I mean, Dragoon looks like that, man. That there's not a whole lot about Dragoon that looks like its current iteration. So if you're used to those 2 5-hit rotations, you're now just going to have to learn how to do a left positional, a right positional, a rear positional, and then do some burst, and then do it again, and then do it again.
Well, you know also using up your jump stacks to also ignore positionals.
Yes. I think it's cool. I do think it's cool. I think it's badass.
I think it's badass. And in my opinion, you could leave Monk pretty much alone, condense the 6 buttons of their main rotation down to 3.
3. Yep, 3.
Yeah. You got down to 3 buttons. Because you have their regular and then they have their enhanced version. You could make the chakra, instead of an AoE and a single target, you just make a single target with a bunch of drop off. You don't need to have 2 for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't know how they're going to do the AoE.
Nobody knows what AoE is going to look like yet. Yeah. Nobody knows. Yeah. Because they didn't show anything. There weren't any AoE on any of the bars, except for Holy, strangely enough, on White Mage. But that's a weird one. People don't know if it's going to be context sensitive, as in, like, if you're near 2 targets, it's going to switch your attacks to AoE, which I don't like, because there are some attacks that are better on 2 targets. There are some that are better on 3. Some that are a loss on 2. You know what I mean? So it's like,
or a machinist and you flamethrower, but it has to be on 10 plus.
Yeah. So like, flamethrower's badass. By the way,
not flamethrower. Auto crossbow. I'm sorry, auto crossbow.
Oh yeah, auto crossbow, because it doesn't generate checkmate and double check. I again, it's one of those changes, just like with Reaper's Gauge negativity. With Reaper's Gauge negativity, because we have Perfectio now, if they just gave Perfectio 10 soul gauge, it would change the entire fucking gauge negativity. It's the same with Machinist and Auto Crossbow. Just give them checkmate and double check. It will not break the job, Square Enix, I promise you. But it does. It's a moot point now, because we're going to have Evolved Machinist in 8.0, so who the hell knows how that's going to work, so but it's such a simple change. I just don't get. I don't get it. But anyways, I'm not Yoshi P. Okay, I don't have the drip like Yoshi P. Maybe the drip just like gives you a different mindset about things, and he's just like,
it's the amount of rings. It's the amount of rings. Yes. Correct. you need 7 to 10 rings, like 2 maybe on a middle finger. And then when you go to shake people's hands, like my hand, which I still haven't washed, it's pretty dirty. His entire hand clicked when I shook his hand.
Yes, it did. Yeah, I was there.
It was good times. And then we ate a beignet. It was good times. Yeah. Oh, what else do we want to talk about from here?
What else is there to talk about? I mean, we can probably save quick. Go ahead.
Talk about the eye level thing.
Oh, the eye level thing. Yes. So yeah, do you want to start
it off? I'll set it up here. So they're changing the gearing system so that when you on your main job, you've done all the rating, you got to, what are we at, 790 right now on our job?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. we're 790. You get a raid weapon, you know, 795 raid weapon. Well, now you want to go to another job. Well, that job you haven't played in like 5 months, but you want to get it up because you like the job changes in this current patch. So you want to play it again. Well, now you got to gear up. Well, with Evercold, maybe not so much, because they're going to do an upscaling of gearing so that you can do current content. You can do other things. It won't be the min-max best because they're going to not allow the materia that you slot in. I think there needs to be a little bit more, but I'm still mixed. I need to see it in action, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing as a whole for the game, because I don't know, like maybe you only need to really raid with one job. Maybe you only need one crafted set. I'm trying to find where I stand on this. How are your feelings on this item level upsync system?
This level syncing, but it's in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it's weird.
System. Yeah. I don't know. I have to see how they implement it, because yes, like you said, I'm afraid how this affects the longevity of like Savage. You know what I mean? Like Savage is something that you continue to do after you get BIS, so you can gear up other jobs. And now it's like, how much of a necessity is that going to be if you can just play whatever job you want after you BIS one job? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, what benefits are you going to get from actually gearing up an alternate job beyond just being able to sync it up to your best item leveled primary or something? You know what I mean? So like, you know, people are speculating like melds or whatever. Like, okay, melds are fine. Yeah. On a job like tanks, for example, if like melds are just not going to be taken into account at all, when you level upscale, then like they're not going to have any direct hit, because like tanks get all their direct hit from their melds. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and so do white mage, or so do healers for that matter. So it's like, are you going to be losing out on direct hits? And if that's the case, then yeah, that's a pretty good incentive for you to want to go and get, you know, actual best in slot for your tanks and your healers. But like, I just don't know how it's going to work. You know what I mean? So if they could make materia and secondary stats as a whole more interesting. Again, there's still a lot of things that they can talk about in Berlin and Tokyo. If they can make secondary stats and materia more interesting, where like, oh yeah, I can do experts and this piece of like extreme trials with my upscaled, but if you want to do the cutting edge stuff, you want to do chaotics, you want to do savages, you want to do ultimates, you're going to want the best gear so that you have those material pieces. That's just, if I was designing this, that's how I would be really looking at the secondary stats and the materials to bring up the value of, hey, I do still want to gear these jobs. I have the ability to play the current content with all these jobs I've ignored for 6 months, but if I want to do cutting edge content, I got to do this stuff to keep gearing. Do you think that would be a happy medium if they could find a way? Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, if they found a way, then I could be okay with it. But like, even thinking about that, it's like, we even at this point, like at this day and age, right now in Final Fantasy, there is a way to play, you know, another max level job at current level. Like if, for example, I have a red mage that's BIS, but if I wanted to play my healer or something, I have the ability to go into Savage on my healer. Do you want to know why? Because I can just go get crafted gear. Yeah, I'm going to be way weaker than if I had BIS, but I can do the content.
People do the content in crafted gear, for crying out loud.
So like, and if that's going to be the same thing, if you're just going to be weaker, but at max item level, you know, but you're synced up, you know, for not having your best in slot gear or whatever. Yeah. Like, it's the same shit as now, basically, as just being in crafted.
You should still have, you know, if you're up synced, you should still have the same hit points, because that's not going to be affected. The hit points would be the same as your max job. Your main stat is just going to be secondaries as it currently stands. So I think for them to really make a difference in making you want to still gear alternate jobs, they need to make secondaries and materia much more interesting. or give the raid gear. So give the crafted gear 2 slots. Give the raid gear 5 slots.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's actually not a bad idea. They could do something like that. And
Or 2 slots and advanced meld, but give raid gear 5 slots. 5 slots. Not advanced, 5 slots.
Yeah. That could be something. And honestly, it also makes me worried for like the longevity of crafted gear, period. Because it's like, now you just like, you can just buy one, like when a raid tier starts, you just buy one set of crafted gear and that's all you got to do. If you want to play other jobs, you don't got to buy the crafted gear again. You don't have to, because you can just, your item level will be what it is. And then you can just, so like that's going to tank like the crafted market.
Yeah.
So rip crafters, I guess, you know what I mean? So I need to see how they implement it. I need to see how they implement it, and hopefully they do it well. I'll trust them for now, but we got to see. So yeah. I'll have faith.
And again, this is if I was designing the game, crafted gear, 2 slots, advanced meld to 5.
Yeah.
Tombstone, whatever the battle pass system is, 3 slots, 1 over cap.
Mm-hmm.
Savage gear, raid gear, top end content, 5 slots, 5 full slots. Really incentivize that difference in collection. I mean, unless there's an ultimate or a chaotic that we're really going to want to use it, at the end of the day, like, you're just going to replace it the next patch cycle, which now, by the way, is called seasons. We're going full Fortnite, so welcome to seasons in Final Fantasy XIV. Nothing's really changing. It's still the same kind of patch cycle. It'd be 0.0, 0.1, and then 0.2, 0.3, and then 0.4, 0.5. It's just they're putting a nice bow around it so that you understand that these two are together. This is where the content, this is where the gear in your battle pass is going to be most effective. Coming next season, you'll have a new battle pass, new gear. I think it just clarifies for some people.
That video that I watched that also discussed like the tank and off tank and main tank vernacular, also discussed the season vernacular, and was like, I think Square Enix is just using vernacular that gamers are used to. So seasons, you guys play other games. You play Genshin Impact or Marvel Rivals, right? You guys know what seasons are, right? So that's what we're doing, except it's just not really any different than what we're doing now, but we'll call it seasons because you guys know what that means, right? Yeah. So I think it's just a vernacular thing.
It's a vernacular thing. It's just for the new players. Anybody that's been playing this for more than 1 or 2 expansions understands what the patch cycle is. Nothing's changing in that regard.
Yeah.
All right, my good sir. Was there anything else you wanted to hit on?
What else is there to discuss? I mean, I think we can discuss what happened in the trailer, like in the MSQ show, right? Because that could be something to talk about. And I can't think of anything else. We might be getting a butt slider, I guess, someday. That could be cool.
Yeah.
They're looking
curated
into more presentation.
They're curated Q&As. They throw out like, hey, you can ask us whatever questions you want. They curate it so hard that I'm sorry, like a savage level question, butt slider question mark, that is not a savage level question. That is a peaches question. That is a grapes graphics question. That is absolutely silly.
Yes. Was it you that I was memeing to about that the other night, or was it
we were memeing on it as it was happening. We were there for that.
No, I think it was Ultimate Mimi, because I was like, there's no way that they were ever going to answer a question like, why does Sprint cancel Swiftcast? They were never going to answer that question. They were only going to answer haha funny XD meme butt slider with no capitalization question mark. Yoshi P looks at the camera like Jim Halpert from The Office. Everybody laughs and claps, and then everybody has a great time. Those are the only fucking questions that they asked that entire Q&A, and it pisses me off so much. Anyway,
I've after several of these, I no longer really take those Ask Yoshi P Q&A seriously at all, because they're not going to give him the hard questions because he's not going to answer them.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. But I don't want to be negative. It was fun. It was fine.
I had a good time.
even back, okay, let's backtrack a little bit. Even back to the eye level thing, I don't want to be all negative. I do want to be positive. I think it will offer more flexibility. Even in the middle of a raid tier, for example, if I wanted to say, hey, Sim, who's our tank, hey, I want to try tanking this fight. Do you think we could swap and he could swap the DPS, I could swap the tank? There wouldn't even be much of a difference, you know what I mean? Like gear wise or HP wise, and it would be a lot more flexible. So I do like that they're adding flexibility. I just don't want that to destroy the incentivization of doing Savage, or even the incentivization of buying crafted gear or buying different sets of gear for different jobs. You know what I mean? I still want that incentive to be there. Okay, that's my last point on it. That's it.
I just want the game to be good. I know a lot of people were down on Dawn Trail. I was not one of those people. MSQ was very lacking, but that is one portion of this game. For me, it's all about the content. And I thought Dawn Trail's content was absolutely banger after banger after banger. Very few issues with extremes, with Savage, with much of anything. There were some execution issues with like Occult Crescent and Fork Tower Blood, but the content itself was still cool.
Their fight design has been stellar this entire expansion. So like, you cannot take that away from the dev team. They've been cooking really hard, and now that they're breaking the chains of the 2-minute meta, now their fight design can even be wackier. So I think that the fight design in 8.0 is going to be cracked out of its mind. So I am super excited to see what they do with it. I just hope that with the fight designs being cracked out of their mind, that the job design will be equally as cracked, because if those two things can align, it'll be perfect. We're looking at the resurgence of 14. Everyone's going to come back from WoW. It's going to be great.
And this maybe is an unpopular opinion, I was actually excited to see positionals come back. I was like, positionals?
Right,
hell yeah.
Dude, when I saw right and left positions, I freaked out. I was like, hell yeah, that is so cool. And what's cool about it is it's on a charge system, which means you get to dictate when you do those left and right positionals. Yeah. So it's like
you could go left to mid to right, and you don't even have to do the right. Yeah. You're like, nah, I need to use my jump now. So I'm going to ignore that right. I'm going to use my jump and then do the right one from the left, because that's where I need to be for this fight. I have good hopes. I think and we'll talk about MSQ next time, with the MSQ, what I'm seeing so far, and again, it was only 1/3 of the trailer. We're going to get another piece in Berlin. I think the story is getting back on track. I just hope that they're not rehashing things. I hope they mix things up MSQ wise, so that I'm not like reliving Shadowbringers.
I don't think
I don't think so either, but like, there's a nagging thing in the back of my head, you know? Nagging thing.
Yeah.
That's all.
I get it.
All right. That is going to be a wrap for us this week. Piers, where can people find you?
Literally nowhere, just like it's always been. Nothing has changed.
He plays the game. Find him on Leviathan over on Primal.
What is this, episode 27?
Yes.
So nothing has changed from episode 26. Okay, you can see down there. Whoop, wrong hand. You can see down there. I have a Twitch that I want to try to use more often. Okay, look, it's in the cards.
You need to get back to Dark Cloud too.
I found my camera. Okay, I didn't even do my camera on my streams, so like I have my camera now. I've got a nice mic. I can stream. So I'm gonna try to do that more often. So yes, please throw Radio Piers a follow. I swear to God, I'll get back to it. And if you see me go live, come by, have a good time. And of course, I am on the Leviathan server on Final Fantasy XIV, and you can find me playing pretty much all the time. If you need any content done, you just want to chat, you want to talk about how awesome Red Mage is, hit me up, and I would be willing to run some things with you or talk about how cool Red Mage is, because I can talk about how cool Red Mage is for literally forever. So that's where you can find me.
Except on M12, which apparently is impossible to parse.
Well, that's a problem with that fight. Okay, it's not a problem with Red Mage. Red Mage plays pretty good in that fight, actually, and it's only phase 1. I have a pretty good parse in phase 2. Anyway, I actually and we'll pass it on to you, who actually has socials. So where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkoth Gaming, playing Final Fantasy 14 most days of the week. You can also find me on Ready Check Raideo Saturday nights, where we are playing Final Fantasy 7. We're wrapping that up next Saturday. So I'm excited.
Did you beat Emerald?
I did beat Emerald.
Nice.
Second run. I got wiped on the first run. But Air Tam. Oof. That thing hurts.
Air Tam's nasty.
Yeah, Air Tam's nasty.
You know that's materia. You know that's materia backwards.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh.
Did you really not know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yes.
I knew it was materia based. I knew it was materia based. Like the more materia you have, the harder it hits. And I kind of went like halfway on materia. But anyways, regardless, he's dead. And that was heart pumping because, I wrecked his face. Anyways, until next time though, y'all take care of yourselves, stay safe, and remember,
Master Control oversees all on the grid. End of line.
peace, friends.